I've always been a fan of zombies, and I'm quite partial to the Artificer, so when I heard that there was going to be an Artificer subclass that could create zombies, my ears perked up. GameMasters here, and the Artificer subclass Reanimator is evidently dropping at some point this year. I've heard that it likely won't be in the new Forge of the Artificer book, but I'm curious to see if it's going to be included in this mystery book that's due out in October. That said, I did find some playtest material, so today we are going to check out what this subclass is all about. Quick interruption. I do want to point out that a few years back, Ghostfire Gaming put out an Artificer supplement for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, in which there was an Artificer subclass called Reanimator. It's available on DM's Guild, and I'll leave a link to it down below, but I wanted to make mention of it here before folks started to chime in that Wizards stole the idea from Ghostfire. Keep in mind that, too, that Ghostfire also is selling under license their Grim Hollow books directly on D&D Beyond, so it's also possible that they and Wizards have an agreement for this subclass. Anyways, back to the main video. The Artificer Reanimator is all about reassembling corpses to raise the dead. In essence, they become Frankenstein and can stitch together parts from volunteer corpses and apply a bit of foul magic, which, as the description states, they can then transform the art of necromancy into terrifying science. At level 3, you gain access to Reanimator spells, which opens up to you the ability to cast certain spells which you're always going to have prepared. Once you hit level 3 as an Artificer, you'll get False Life, Spare the Dying, and Witch Bolt. False Life lets you gain 2d4 plus 4 temporary hit points. Spare the Dying lets you stabilize a creature that's at 0 hit points but hasn't died yet. But with this subclass, you can modify the spell so that it instead shoots electricity through that creature and boosts up to 1 hit point, kind of similar to what a defibrillator would do. Plus, creatures in a 10-foot radius have to make a dexterity save, otherwise they are going to take 1d4 plus half of your artificial level in lightning damage. Witch Bolt lets you smack a target with 2d12 lightning damage, which is quite good for a level 3 spell, or for level 3 character actually. You'll also be able to use your Tinker tools to create a reanimated companion. And this is what we were talking about a few moments ago, where you can stitch together parts from corpses to make your very own best friend. This zombie is friendly towards you and your party and obeys your commands. It's going to hang around until either you yourself finish a long rest, you dismiss it early, if it runs out of hit points, or if you yourself die. You can only have one shambling creature around at a time, but in combat, this companion goes on your turn. The reanimated companion, I'm just going to call it a zombie for brevity reasons here, has 4 plus 4 times your Artificer level in hit points, can move 30 feet and has a strength of 14, a dexterity of 10, constitution of 16, an intelligence of 4, wisdom is 10, and its charisma is 6. It is resistant to necrotic and poison damage and is immune to lightning from being charmed and cannot be exhausted or poisoned. It has a trait called Death Burst, in which it goes boom, whether it or you should die. Should this happen, folks in that blast radius will take 2d6 necrotic damage unless they make a successful dexterity save. They also have lightning absorption, in which instead of taking damage, the lightning instead heals them for the same amount that the lightning would have otherwise caused. For actions, this animated companion, zombie, can perform a dreadful swipe. It's a melee attack that can do 1d4 plus 2 plus your intelligence modifier in necrotic damage, plus the target hit cannot take opportunity attacks until the start of its next turn. So far, I'm digging this subclass, but we still have a bit more to explore. Taking a look back at the Reanimator spell list, and we can see that once you've hit level 5, you get access to blindness and deafness, as well as enhanced ability. Blindness/deafness causes a creature to be blind or deaf should it fail a Constitution saving throw. Enhance ability lets you touch a creature and give to it advantage on either strength, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, or charisma charisma-based ability checks. Plus, at level 5, you gain Strange Modifications, which lets you modify your reanimated companion by giving it either Arcane Conduit or Ferocity. Arcane Conduit allows you to cast spells through your zombie, as if you were standing in its occupied space. Also, once per turn, when you cast one of your spells from either the Evocation or Necromancy schools, provided that your zombie is within 120 feet of you, you can add your Intelligence modifier to 1 damage roll of that spell. The Ferocity lets your zombie use its Dreadful Swipe attack twice. Now, back to the spell list, because at level 9, you gain Animate Dead and Lightning Bolt. Animate Dead has a massive explanation block, so I'll pause for a moment, just if in the event that you want to read through the whole thing. In essence, you can cause a pile of bones or corpses to animate into either a skeleton or a zombie, and it more or less follows your commands for 24 hours. And it can appear that that it can work in conjunction with your animated companion, because it's got to have a friend so it doesn't get lonely. Lightning Bolt causes 8d6 lightning damage to each creature in a 100-foot long by 5-foot wide line, unless they succeed on a dexterity saving throw. Plus, at level 9, you can boost your animated companion more with either having them become bloated, giving them gaunt, or making them moist. Trust me, that's not as bad as it sounds. Making them bloated boosts their overall size, and when it hits a creature that is smaller than it with its Dreadful Swipe attack, it can also push that creature up to 10 feet away, and it can also add your Intelligence modifier to the amount of damage dealt. Giving them Gaunt will increase their speed to 45 feet. Now remember, it was 30 feet in its base stat, and they're also going to gain climbing, so now you're going to have Spider-Man as a zombie pet. Plus, any creature that begins its turn within 10 feet of your now Spider-Man zombie companion, that creature must succeed a Wisdom saving throw, or else it takes on the Frightened condition. Making your zombie companion moist. I see you giggling back there. It's not what it means. It gains swim speed equal to its speed, plus whenever it is hit by an enemy, that specific enemy will then take acid damage equal to your Intelligence modifier. I swear, you kids and your gutter minds. At level 13, you'll gain the spells Blight and Death Ward. Blight dishes out 8d8 necrotic damage upon a creature that fails a Constitution save, but if it's a non-magical plant that isn't a creature, it's simply going to just kind of shrivel up, rot away, and die. Death Ward lets you grant to a creature protection from death. Basically, the first time the chosen creature drops to 0 hit points, instead it's going to drop to 1 hit point. At level 15, you gain Promethean Reanimation, in which you have now mastered the science of revivification, giving to you Facilitated Revival, Improved Companion, and Life Transfer. Facilitated Revival makes it so that when you cast either Revivify or Raise Dead, that the material components needed for those is half of what it normally would have been. Now, the odd part here is that you cannot get Raise Dead until you have hit Artificer level 17. So I don't know if this was a typo in the playtest material or just a forward-thinking aspect of hitting level 15. Improved Companion increases the damage of your zombie's death burst to 4d6 necrotic damage, and should the creatures within that blast zone have resistance to necrotic damage, this improved version, it flat out just bypasses that resistance. Life Transfer allows you to suck the life from your reanimated companion, and in turn, you'll regain a number of hit points equal to your Artificer level, but doing this causes your companion to just immediately die, which also triggers its Death Burst trait. At level 17, you'll gain Anti-Life Shell and, as we've mentioned previously, Raise Dead. Anti-Life Shell extends an aura around you in a 10-foot radius that will keep things other than constructs and undead from being able to reach through it. Raise Dead lets you revive a dead creature, bringing it back to life with 1 hit point. Provided that it wasn't undead to begin with and that it hasn't been dead for longer than, what was it? 10 days. Again, the Artificer Reanimator subclass is currently from the playtest material, so things that we've presented here could change by the time we see it in its final form. And again, I'm unsure of that level 15's ability to facilitate revival because, facilitate revival, because again, this subclass's spell list simply states that you get Raised Dead at level 17, but that's just like my observation, man. I'm kind of digging this subclass, and while it looks fun on paper, I'll be honest, I'm kind of working on my own subclass, one that would let the Artificer be more of a time traveler, but that's a video for another time. Right now, I want to thank everyone for watching, and I especially need to thank my YouTube members and Patreon supporters, as their contributions to the channel have made it so that I didn't need to take on any sponsored ads for today's video, which, come on, I mean, let's admit it, we all skip those anyway, right? If you would like to become a YouTube member or a Patreon supporter, I'll leave a link down in the description. I'd also like to invite everyone watching to join my Discord. It's free, and we get into a lot of fun gaming and geeky conversation, and I'll leave a link to that down below as well. I think that the Artificer class, the class itself, is a pretty fun class to begin with, and with this subclass, well, as mentioned at the beginning of the video, zombies are cool, and adding them together seems to be a logical choice from a pure fun aspect, but I can't help but feel that this subclass needs a bit more fleshing out, pun intended, to that end. What would you change about it? What other abilities or spells would you give it? Let me know the changes that you would make down in the comments, and until next our paths cross, may you... No, I'm not going to make any references to making your zombie moist. Oh, crap. I guess I just did. Well, just watch this video next.